We'll begin shortly. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Weldon Wright with the Military and Family Readiness Center. I would like to welcome you to the Gold Star and Air Force Families Forever Moment of Remembrance event. We will begin with Chaplain Blackburn providing the invocation.
If you would, please join me in prayer. Almighty God, we bless your name for those who've entered into your rest. We thank you for our brothers and sisters, for their character, for their stories, and their service to our nation. As the Lord asked the prophet Isaiah, who will go, and he replied, "Here I am, send me." These men and women have answered their nation's call of who will go, and they raised their right hand and said, "Here I am, send me." We thank you for their character as they epitomized the quote of the need for our military, that our armed forces exist to ensure that our nation is safe, so that each and every one of us can sleep soundly at night, knowing that we have guardians at the gate. As their watch has ended, may they find rest, that there are others who have answered the call. Help us to keep their memories alive. We also remember the family, friends, and coworkers who continue in their memory. Touch our hearts with the healing power of your comfort, and give us the strength to live our lives as an expression of gratitude for those we remember. Be with us today and in this service. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Blackburn. Today we are here not only to honor those of this year's fallen, but also to learn two programs for surviving family members, the Gold Star and Air Force Families Forever. The Gold Star program started during World War I. Families would display small banners with a blue star for every immediate family member serving in the armed forces. If their service member died or was killed in action, the family would replace the blue star with a gold star. The gold star was to let the community know that the service member gave the ultimate sacrifice while serving their country. In 1947, the Gold Star lapel button was designed and created for family members who died in combat in World War II. According to Article 10 of the USC, the military department shall provide a Gold Star lapel button to each of the immediate family members for each fallen service member who lost their lives while engaged in action against an enemy of the United States, while engaged in military operations involving a conflict with an opposing foreign force, while serving with a friendly forces engaged in armed conflict in which the United States was not a belligerent party against an opposing force, as a result of an international terrorist attack against the United States or a foreign nation friendly to the United States, or as a result of military operations while serving outside the United States as a part of a peacekeeping force. In 1973, Congress created the next of kin lapel button, which is also provided to families of active duty service members, National Guard, and Reserve members who lost their lives while serving on active duty or in a drill status but not killed in action, and is authorized for each authorized family member. In 2010, the Air Force recognized the need to be able to provide immediate and long-term care to the next of kin survivors and established the Air Force Families Forever program, with all services being delivered out of Dover Air Force Base. In 2014, the Air Force decentralized the survivor support and placed the program's functions with the trust and care of the Military Family Readiness Centers throughout the Air Force. The Air Force Families Forever program ensures that all surviving immediate family members and authorized next of kin, including stepchildren, adopted children, parents via adoption, and even foster parents, are provided program support. The Military Family Readiness Centers strive to provide both short and long-term support to our survivors, with the goal to ensure surviving family members are supported with casualty assistance representation and a survivor care team, providing an integrated approach to survivors' care to include bereavement counseling, relocation assistance, financial counseling, and many other services for all surviving DoD ID card holders. Furthermore, for non-DoD ID card survivors, the Military Family Readiness Center will provide informational referral support for local, state, national, and non-governmental agencies to ensure each receives the care and assistance they deserve. At this time, I would like to invite Colonel Rahman to say a few words.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us today. Usually when I come up in front of the audience, I want to talk and get a lot more energy going. But today I really just want to ask for a different energy, and that's your reflective energy as we think about and reflect on all the airmen that we've lost over the last year. Our purpose today is to not only learn about those programs for our surviving families, but to honor and remember those Air Force members that passed away in the past year. Some died in support of combat operations, others while serving in garrison, but we honorably remember them as all members of the Air Force family that we lost. As we pay our respects by reading their names, we shall never forget those who are left behind, their loved ones, the husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters of these active duty airmen, and how they are remembered through the Gold Star and Air Force Family Forever's program. As airmen, we mourn, grieve, and survive the loss of our fellow airmen. Although we don't go through the same level of grief as our family members do, it's essential to acknowledge that we do grieve. We remember and honor their sacrifices of the fallen airmen, and it is our responsibility to ensure the surviving family members are not forgotten or alone, because they are and will forever be a part of our Air Force family. Many of us participated in the Jacobson Ruck Memorial March yesterday, an annual event we hold in remembrance of the Airman First Class Elizabeth Jacobson, who died on 28 September 2005 in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. This is one way the 17th Training Wing ensures Airman Jacobson and her family are forever remembered. We lost another 17th Training Wing family member on 24 November 2021, Chief Master Sergeant Jolene Donovan. She was a beloved senior enlisted leader in the SEL of the 311th Training Squadron at the Presidio Monterey. Her name will be read in a few minutes, but I wanted to speak for a few moments about her specifically. Chief Donovan enlisted in the United States Air Force after 2 years at DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois, where she ran track before she found her call to serve. She was an electronic system security assessment analyst, a 1 in 6 and a former AFSC, who served in assignments in Germany, Alaska, Hawaii, and Texas, as well as deployed to Iraq and the Philippines in support of Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom. She attained the highest enlisted rank of Chief Master Sergeant in July of 2017 and was survived by her husband, Patrick Donovan, her parents and step-parents, as well as numerous brothers, sisters, nephews, and nieces. And of course, her Air Force family. The 311th Training Squadron and the 517th Training Group continue to work through their grief over the last year and that beloved senior enlisted leader that they lost just last November. We've lost some of our own civilian teammates in the last year that I want to mention their names, so they are also never forgotten. Mr. Thomas Peoples, Mr. Dave McDonald, and Mr. John Evans. Let them not be forgotten as a part of our Raider family. As we listen to the names of each of the fallen airmen, please consider the challenges these surviving family members have endured and continue to endure to this day. They are and forever will be members of the Air Force family. Remember your reflective energy that you feel today and remembering what they've done and accomplished, and know we must do better to ensure that these members and their families are not forgotten.
Thank you, Colonel Rahman. Today, in remembrance of those Air Force members lost while serving in the line of duty or while on duty, we will now read the names of each service member aloud who has passed this year.
Master Sergeant John Grease, Technical Sergeant Nicholas Pickering, Lieutenant Colonel Colin Wyatt, Staff Sergeant Zachary Lyon, Master Sergeant Brandon Sola, Senior Airman Brooklyn Feller, Master Sergeant Simon De La Cruz Jr., Senior Airman Coy Horn, Airman Basic Haley Sturgeon, Technical Sergeant Arnold Braxton, Senior Airman Skylar Treese, Staff Sergeant Andrew Holman, Staff Sergeant William Roy.
Airman Basic Hunter James. Airman First Class Ethan Lilberg. Master Sergeant Mindy Dahl. Senior Airman Ricky Teagle Jr. Cadet Ryan Adams. Staff Sergeant Russell Green. Senior Master Sergeant Liliani Ripsky. Major Gregory Morgan. Staff Sergeant Courtney Pride. Senior Airman Devin McDonald. Second Lieutenant Anthony Wentz. Second Lieutenant Gunnar Schultz. Senior Airman Brian Stewart. Senior Airman Aldafo Gonzalez.
Airman First Class Emerald Dragon Baskin Young. Airman First Class Samantha Cotter. Airman First Class Ezra Lawson. Technical Sergeant Elbriel May Wilson. Staff Sergeant Mark Carico. Technical Sergeant Lloyd Kimball. Airman First Class Richard Medina. Captain Carlos Gallardo. Staff Sergeant James McCall. Senior Airman Maxwell Horvath. Airman First Class Amir Humphrey Alamin. Staff Sergeant Ryan Bethia. Staff Sergeant Matthew Estrada.
Senior Airman Orville Henry. Senior Airman Derek Banks. Airman Garrett Johnson. Airman First Class Fallon Montanucci. Captain Hannah Jorgensen. Staff Sergeant Craig Bellamy. Senior Airman Tyler Hayden. Major Michael Parker. Staff Sergeant Darren Roberts. Airman First Class Avina Duran. Staff Sergeant Jean Rodriguez. Technical Sergeant Kenneth Santiago. Second Lieutenant Kaylin Foster. Master Sergeant Kyle Derrick.
Airman Sandra Vanderhaar, Technical Sergeant John Cheatham, Airman First Class Mark Sullivan, First Lieutenant Christopher Clark, Airman First Class Jackson Knight, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Camp, Senior Airman Ian Smiling, Senior Airman Lee Talamantes, Airman First Class Enrique Romero, Airman First Class Brian Smith, Staff Sergeant Ray Lopez, Technical Sergeant Adam Holtz, Airman First Class Maxwell Branchflower, Airman Chase Harding.
Senior Airman Andrew Clinton, Senior Airman Tyler Leah Ping, Technical Sergeant Pieta Liu, Airman First Class Luis Valles, Captain William Size, Senior Airman Denver Brooks, Technical Sergeant Benjamin Klaus, Technical Sergeant Peter Cologne, Airman Keith Francis, Senior Airman Kishana Irvin, Master Sergeant Gerard Colley, Senior Airman Lou Moo, Senior Airman Nathan Duncan, Master Sergeant Craig Hildebrand.
Airman First Class Dylan Batista, Technical Sergeant Joseph Stiffelmeyer, Master Sergeant James Finley Jr., Airman First Class Yvette Martinez, Technical Sergeant Taylor Linehan, Senior Airman Jacob Woodall, Staff Sergeant James Belmont, Captain Michael McGuire, Staff Sergeant Ryan Vogan, Staff Sergeant Alexander Fisher, Chief Master Sergeant Jolene Donovan, Technical Sergeant Nevin Taukis, Staff Sergeant Noah Cover, and Colonel Robert Edwards III.
Airman First Class Harrison Crabtree, Technical Sergeant Brad Weeks, Airman First Class Amanda Cano Rodriguez, Senior Airman Ethan Fritz, Technical Sergeant Travis Cambridge, Major Michael Carvin, Senior Airman Joseph Whitfield, Captain Stacy Gatlin, Staff Sergeant Tyrell Harris, Staff Sergeant Dennis Melton, Senior Airman Seth Harper, Major Jill Klooster, Technical Sergeant Carlos Hernandez, Lieutenant Colonel Eric Jacquet.
Now, to show inclusion and respect to all the fallen service members from each branch of service, the name of each branch will be read out loud, followed by a moment of silence. United States Army. United States Navy. United States Marine Corps. United States Space Force. United States Coast Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our service today. I would like to thank each of you for taking the time to remember those that we have lost. I hope that today's event has touched you and may incite some discussion while providing you with some awareness of the Gold Star and Air Force Families Forever programs. If you'd like to learn more information, please stop by the Military and Family Readiness Center and we'll be glad to assist you. Again, thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.